Alrighty y'all, it's your boy RickyMoto. Welcome back to yet another video. So we are back with episode 2 of repairing this Yamaha R3. So in our first episode we changed a handful of things that were very crucial to the bike, and in this part 2 today we're going to be doing some more maintenance related items. So we have 3 things on the agenda today, and the first thing is to do an oil and filter change. So the oil on this bike was changed from the previous owner, but they didn't change it with the filter, which is kind of like, what? So we're going to be redoing the oil change but with a new filter, and we're actually going to be upgrading the filter to a high performance one. On top of that, we are going to be adjusting the rear set. So we did replace this in the previous video. The brake light in the rear is still lighting up, so we definitely have to adjust that. It should be a pretty simple fix. There is an adjuster knob over here which should control the actuation point of the rear brake light. And on top of that, we are going to be tightening up the chain because it is dangling down there. It is very, very loose. The owner of the bike told me that they never adjusted it ever since they got it, and they put like 5,000 miles on the bike without adjusting it. So yeah, definitely got to change. But yeah, those are the main things on the agenda for the R3. Should be pretty straightforward. We've done services like this time and time again in the past. So yeah, without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jack this thing up and get started. Alrighty, so let's jack this bike up. Oh my gosh. Almost dropped the bike a second time. Oh, it is not holding. Something is wrong with this thing here. This stand here is not making contact. It looks like the frame is not even. The bike is still leaning over to the right. I don't know why that is. See, look, it's just like, yeah, it's hanging over to the right now. I really hope it's not the frame that's bent on this thing. The ground is even, my stand is even. Let's get everything loosened up. Alrighty. Let's pop this cap off on the back side. So I'm going to loosen up this adjustment nut back here. I'm going to loosen up the other side as well. Alright, so now that this is loose, we should be able to make our chain adjustment. Alright, so now that we have these 2 rear bolts individually loosened up, we can now start tightening down the closer one to make our chain adjustment. The outer one is more so just a locking mechanism, so right now this is all the way pushed back, so super loose, but I don't know how much further we can go. Let's just make that adjustment. You want to leave a little bit of slack. I'm gonna pop the bike in neutral as well. So definitely a little bit more is needed. Okay, it's a little better. So we have 2 lines over here. So I want to make sure we have 2 lines on the other side. Okay, feels a lot better. So now we're going to put the outer locking bolt back on. Just tighten that down. Alrighty, so that's pretty solid. Now let's go ahead and just add a little bit of lubrication on the chain. Just really soak in it, you know, because it's super dry. I'm pretty much going to do the whole entire thing, little by little. Okay, so now it is time to do the adjustment for the rear tail light. So the issue here is that every time we turn on the bike, it looks like the rear tail light is already activated, and it's not that we're pressing the brake, it's just activating on its own. And so it should be this hex nut screw over here. So it controls the actuation point. So you don't want it being actuated when you're not hitting the brake. You want to hit the brake and then it actually pulls at it. And you don't want to make it where if you hit the brakes, it doesn't light up. That means it's not actuating properly either. So you kind of have to play around with it, go back and forth to kind of find that middle ground, the correct balance. I can kind of twist it by hand as well, I noticed. So first I'm gonna turn on the bike and leave the electrics on. And I'm gonna take a look at the taillight. It is still on, it seems like.
So the bike is on right now, and the brake light is not on. This is the daytime running light. If I hit the rear brake, nothing. Oh, there we go. So basically, I have to hit it pretty hard. You know, the first half of it is nothing, right? I'm pressing it right now, but if I like slam on it to basically the bottom point, that's when it activates. I could take the rear set off to do this, but I mean, I don't want to go through all that again, so I'm just kind of squeezing myself in here just to do this. So the issue that the owner told me was actually the complete opposite, but it could have been that we reversed the issue because we changed the rear set. The issue initially was that it was activated already, and then when it hits the brakes, it doesn't make a difference because it's already on. But ever since we changed the rear set, the issue became it's not activating at all. So after some adjustment, look at that. Perfecto. Perfecto, man, look at that. I can just press it like a little bit and it'll activate. So that's perfect. That's what you want. You don't want it too sensitive. Like, you want it to be like in the middle-ish, you know? All right, so now it is time to do the oil change. We only need to take apart the bottom fairing on the left side because that's where the oil filter and drain bolt is located. Now, the previous owner did mention they did the oil change themselves, but they screwed it up. They said they stripped the head of the drain bolt and they never changed the filter. Get rid of this janky kickstand. We do have to add a little bit of lubricant to the kickstand because it is like getting jammed. I feel like it's very rusty, so it's a little stiff. Should be able to kind of just wiggle our way out of here. So it was so much easier removing the entire side panel than trying to unbolt the whole bottom piece. But yeah, now we can get access to the oil filter right over here, along with this very crusty drain bolt. And we're not going to be replacing this with the old one, so we're going to just throw this one out pretty much. So let's line it up. Oh my gosh, that is like chocolate. What the heck kind of oil is this? Why is it so thick? I'm sorry to the owner, like, I'm sorry if I'm crapping on your bike, but like, yo, I don't know what happened to your oil. He said he did this oil change like literally a few days before he gave the bike to me. I don't know, man, that's concerning to me. Anyways, we're also gonna go ahead and bust out this oil filter. I'm using a 65 millimeter flute here. All right, so we got our new drain bolt that is magnetic and a new O-ring gasket. And we're gonna pop on here. So I'm just gonna thread that in. Oh my gosh, don't wanna drop it. That'll be so bad. So I'm just gonna thread that in real quick. And I will be torquing it down to spec. I just want to hold it for now so it doesn't leak. I do have to find some sort of solution to take this oil filter off. I'm probably just going to get like a big ratchet piece and just bang at it and just, you know, snap it off. That's what I did with my R3 actually before, because I didn't have a flute. I would just take a big like clamp and just ratchet it off. But I want to try one more time to see if I can use this flute and kind of force it on here. I'm just gonna grab this old torque wrench that's already broken. Well, it's one of those days again, where you screw up and you gotta go to the store to get some parts. Oh my gosh. I'm going to Advance Auto right now to get a universal oil filter wrench. What I had is a 65 to a 67 millimeter range. I believe I'm supposed to be using a 64, so it's a little bit loose, it's not coming off. And what I did is I actually ended up puncturing the OEM filter. And even so, I don't care if it punctures because I'm throwing it out either way. I just have to get that damn filter out, but it's gotten to a point where I just literally can't get it off because I can't get a grip of it. So guess we have to go to the store and get a universal grip. So yeah, that's just what's going on.
Alrighty, so it's actually been a few days and I just changed the filter and the drain plug. The original filter was an absolute pain in the ass to take off. I did eventually take it off and put the new K&N filter on here, which is much better. It is a fully metal construction and it does have this little hex bolt nut looking thing on the end, which makes it a lot easier to take off and on. We do have the new magnetic drain bolt on here right now. Now, none of these are torqued down to spec yet, but look at this dang mess over here. So this is the old oil filter, and as you can see, it is completely beat up into bits. Basically, it wouldn't come off no matter what. I got even a brand new oil filter wrench for it, and it still couldn't get it off. I tried using this over here, it didn't work. I tried using the screwdriver method and even snapped one, but I eventually got it off with yet another screwdriver. So I basically poked a hole in one side and torqued it by hand in order to take it off. And this is a 17mm socket that I'm using. All right, so both of them are torqued down. It is time to top it up with oil. So we're on the other side of the bike now, and we're gonna top it up with oil. We're gonna just remove this cap here. A little stiff. All right, so now that we changed the oil, it is time to button this thing up and put all the OEM bearings back on and connect all the turn signals and whatnot. So I can just slide this in for now. There's like an inner fairing piece and an outer fairing. So alrighty, so that is the end for part 2. We have addressed some of the maintenance items in this video. So now we're going to be moving on to some modifications for the next video. So if you guys are enjoying this build series so far, make sure to drop a like and a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The R3 is definitely coming along. I mean, the damage and maintenance wasn't really all too extensive. It's just normal maintenance items and things that you should do anyway. So yeah, everything is coming along. I can't wait to finally take this thing out again for yet another ride to see how it feels now that the chain is adjusted properly. Hopefully everything is just running a lot smoother now compared to when I first got it. With that being said, it's been your boy RickyMoto, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.